If you've been creating for any length of time, one thing becomes very clear. Life doesn't stay still. Roles change, seasons change, energy changes, capacity changes. And somewhere along the way, creativity can start to feel fragile or optional or something we'll come back to later. What I've learned is this: creativity doesn't survive on good intentions. It survives on consistent, repeatable ways of returning, ways that still work when life changes. Today, I want to sit with a question that's been quietly shaping my own creative life. How do we stay creative? Honestly, realistically, when everything around us is changing. Hello and welcome. I'm Janet, architect turned creative renewal coach and watercolor artist. At Blueprint to Brushstrokes, I work with mid and late career creative souls who feel emotionally depleted and disconnected from their creative work, or unsure how to sustain creativity alongside an already very full, very real life. My work isn't about hustle or output. It's about recovery, reconnection, and building a creative life you don't have to keep losing and recovering. If that's where you are, you're in the right place. I've also linked my free Creative Confidence Reflection Guide below, as well as the North Star Mini Reset course, if you'd like gentle, structured support. After burnout, life transitions, or long pauses, it's very tempting to try to rebuild creativity through force, enacting new routines, new goals, more discipline. But for many mid and late career creatives, that approach doesn't last. Not because they aren't capable, but because the kind of effort isn't stable when life keeps changing. What actually sustains creativity are supports that can meet us where we are, whether we have 5 quiet minutes or the space for something deeper and more immersive. There isn't one right way to build that. Those supports look different from person to person. As we talk, I'd like to invite you into a very simple grounding sketch. This isn't about drawing well or finishing anything. It's about grounding and connecting, even if only for a few minutes, to your creativity using something that is personally meaningful for you. Think of a place that holds meaning for you, somewhere you've returned to before. It might be a garden, a room, a shoreline or beach, where you've spent a wonderful day, or a familiar path or street you walk. Even just a corner of your home that feels safe and grounding. You can sketch from memory, from a photo on your phone, or just from the feeling that you have from being there. Let the sketch stay open and loose. Big shapes first, only adding details if you want. No pressure to explain anything. This is about remembering, not rendering. And I'll be sketching and painting throughout our little conversation here. I think of these supports as creative anchors. They're places, practices, or relationships that help us return to ourselves creatively, again and again, across changing seasons. You don't have to engage with these at full scale all the time. These anchors can help you settle even with only a 5 or 10-minute sketching session, or they can become the foundation of a larger body of finished work. They can be used once or something you return to over months or even years. What matters is that they remain available to you. They adapt and don't collapse when your energy, time, or focus changes. Today, I want to introduce a few of these at a high level, not the full explanation, to help you recognize what might already be supporting, sustaining, or nurturing your creative life. I plan to cover each of these and others in individual videos to come. Sacred or familiar places. Some creatives find continuity through place: a studio, a landscape, a city, a room, a garden, a shoreline. Whether returning to the same place physically or through photos or memory, this is a place that holds memory and allows the nervous system to soften and relax. Return rituals. Others return through small rituals, the same cup of tea, the same brush, the same moment of the day. Rituals create a sense of safety and gentle structure. They can be grounding and help get things started even when motivation is unreliable. And they don't demand inspiration when you're tired or exhausted. Sketchbooks and small practices. For many of us, a sketchbook becomes a portable home or a visual journal. It's less about productivity and more about presence and permission. I believe a sketchbook should be a private place where imperfection is allowed, even encouraged. Just remember to remind your internal critic to hold their comments. Repeated subjects. Some artists return to the same subjects: trees, interiors, shoes, horizons, again and again, sometimes for months, even years. Exploring a subject repeatedly doesn't have to be stagnation or boring. It can be about depth, and it can provide new perspectives, insights, as well as comfort in the familiar. Seasonal cycles. Other creatives find steadiness by honoring natural rhythms, creative seasons, resting when they need rest, returning when energy allows, honoring times of exploration or growth or times of focus. This is continuity without force. Teaching, mentorship, or service. For some, creativity stays alive through sharing, whether teaching, mentoring, or guiding others. The act of quiet service to others while staying connected to the work can become its own anchor and sustainer. Memory and revisiting old work. Looking back with kindness, not judgment, can help reconnect you to threads you thought were lost. There can be tremendous comfort and grounding in a heartwarming memory or seeing an older creation with fresh perspective. Walking routes, movement, and landscapes. Some people think best while moving, whether walking the same route, returning to the same view, or embarking on a fresh adventure. Walking stimulates the body as well as the creative juices. Try letting movement stimulate creativity when sitting still feels hard or creativity feels stagnated. Reflective or spiritual practices. For some, continuity comes from reflection, whether journaling, prayer, meditation, or simply sitting in quiet attention. Creativity comes more readily to the calmer mind. Here's the most important part. None of these anchors are better than the others, and most people don't rely on just one. What matters is learning which anchors help you return, especially when life pulls you away. Think of it like a creative toolkit for your inner creative soul. Finding the anchors that meet you where you are, whether you have 5 quiet minutes or the space for something larger, depending on what life allows. It is also important to remember that some supports may work once, others will be constant for a season, and still others may support you for a lifetime. But don't be surprised if what supports you use in one season aren't the same as the supports you need later. This isn't failure, it's evolution, it's growth, it's adaptation. I encourage you to take time after this video for reflection. If you'd like, here are a few questions to help you. Start by noticing what thoughts come up first for you, and then ask yourself, why, to gain some deeper insights. What tends to hold me when life feels unstable? Why? What have I quietly returned to before without naming it? Why? And what anchor might I be craving again right now? Why? In future videos, I'll explore some of these anchors more deeply, slowly, and one at a time, through specific practices and personal stories. But for now, I invite you to hold this question gently. What helps me return to myself creatively, even in small ways, when everything else is changing? You don't need to name everything. You don't need to have a plan. Just the beginning of recognition. And remember, creativity doesn't survive on good intentions. It survives on consistent, repeatable ways of returning, ways that still work even when life changes. Until next time, wishing you a steady, grace-filled day and trust in whatever quietly sustains and nourishes your creative life in this season.